Let me start by way of conveying the congratulations of the entire House, including myself, of course, to the two parties represented in Parliament for the successful dialogue that they have held at the Bintumani Conference Center over the last several days. As some of you may have seen, the communique from that dialogue has been published on the social media. Very early this morning, I had the opportunity of reading it. And it's precisely for what I've read and believe it was quite in place in furtherance of our democracy in this country, that I now take the opportunity to congratulate both sides that took part in that dialogue. All of us will do so more enthusiastically when we would have been joined by our colleagues who have been long in coming. I'd actually hoped that they would have come this morning to be part of the proceedings. I notice, unfortunately, they are not yet here. Maybe they will come in the course of the proceedings, in which case we shall all welcome them and ensure that the needful is done, namely the swearing in of the new members, which legally, effectively, will make them members of Parliament. The good thing is that we move from their coming being a forlorn hope to one of great expectation. And let me underline one fundamental principle. Our Constitution of 1991, as everybody will appreciate in this House, is predicated on the existence and maintenance of a multi-party democracy. Multi-party democracy. What that means is that the 1991 Constitution eschews, condemns, considers totally unacceptable a one-party system of governance for this country. Which means at all times, the composition of this House should be democratic, with at least two parties represented in it. And this is why I've been urging the members of the opposition to see reason and to see the need for them to come and represent their electorate who voted them to Parliament and perform their constitutional responsibilities accordingly. I want to say in advance, I extend a very warm hand of felicitation filled with the utmost expectation that before we rise, we might enjoy the company of our colleagues to my right, to my left. I don't know whether the acting leader of the opposition has anything to tell us.
They are coming. That's fine. Double assurance.
Are you as optimistic as you just nodded? Does your optimism extend to expecting them to arrive today or another day? How soon is soon? Very well then. I know that my humble self and all of you are so very expectant this morning, and we shall remain so until the conclusion of our proceedings today, that we'll have the honor and the rare privilege of welcoming to the chamber our colleagues from the opposition. With that, we may proceed with the rest of the business.
Motion of the Committee on Appointment and the Public Service. Proposer Honorable Bashiru Siliki, seconder Honorable Sir Emerson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, 8th report of the Committee on Appointments and the Public Service on Parliamentary Vetting of Presidential Nominations. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the Committee on Appointments and the Public Service, in tandem with its constitutional obligations, met on Tuesday, 17th October 2023, and interviewed 6 presidential nominees for the following positions. 1. The Director General, National Mineral Agency, NMA, the Executive Director, Sierra Leone Investment Board, 1 Ambassador, Sierra Leone Embassy, Qatar, the Chairman, Teaching Service Commission, TSC, the Chairman, Nuclear Safety and Radiation Board, and the Deputy Commissioner, National Youth Commission. Procedure. The committee maintains as usual its strict consistency and established procedures and interviewed the aforesaid nominees on issues pertaining to their educational background to ensure that they have the relevant education and necessary backup experiences to lead such important offices of states. Probing questions covered wide-ranging issues relating to track records, pertinent to their declared assets, tax obligations, and vision for sustainable and productive tenure. Issues of unsuitability or otherwise were also strictly looked into by the committee. The 10th sitting of the committee on Tuesday, 17th October 2023. The committee interviewed the following nominees on oath. Mr. Haji Dabo. Mr. Haji Dabo is the proposed Director General, National Mineral Agency, NMA. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, Mr. Hajidamo is a professional engineer of no mean standing, with a plethora of engineering services, both at private and public levels. Before stepping into government mining services, he spent greater part of his youth in mining knowledge at the country's renowned Rutile Mining Company Limited, where he served in various capacities. 2010 to 2014, he was the Technical Services Production Coordinator responsible for managing, monitoring technical services encompassing geology mines, planning and development, metallurgy and laboratory quality, test and control. 2006 to 2008, he was the Community Affairs Manager, responsible for the mines and community relations, corporate social relations, during which he superintended both the bauxite and rutile mining concessions under the Titanium Resources Group, TRG, for mining communities in both Moyaba and Bont districts. He performed exemplarily to discredit and the companies in question. He also served as a professional mining consultant for years prior to his assumption of duty in June 2019 as chairman, board of directors of the National Minerals Agency, NME, where he is now returning as Director General. At government level and as chairman of NME, the nominee developed ambitious policy operational documents that are helping both the agency and the ministry to monitor the mining sector and sustain economic growth. Mr. Damo holds a Master of Engineering degree 1980 to 1982 from the University of Alberta, Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Responding to the committee on what he will be bringing different to the NME, he said, the board already had a working document which he intends to share with the new chairman, express optimism that with teamwork he will achieve the desired vision as a government mining sector. 2. Mr. Dr. Edward Hinga Sandi, the full Executive Director, National Investment Board. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, Dr. Sandi is an engineer with profound knowledge in environmental sciences, geochemistry, and health-related issues. He is a renowned research scientist with over 16 publications to his credit. Prior to his appointment, he was until recently the Minister of Trade and Industry 2019 to 2023, after serving as Deputy Minister of Water Resources 2018 to 2019. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the committee reaffirms all earlier recommendations accorded this nominee during the 5th Parliament. In his response to the committee, Dr. Sandi said, during his tenure as Minister of Trade and Industry, many reforms took place that even culminated to the formation of the National Investment Board. He said the board would now, according to the NIB Act, create conducive business climate to attract positive growth and encourage more investors to create jobs in this country. He concluded on a firm note that once the NIB becomes fully operational, state agencies that had been leading businesses and investment drive would now subsume under the rules of the National Investment Board. Mr. Ahmed Tijan Fadluddin, proposed Sierra Leone Ambassador, Qatar. Mr. Fadluddin is a well-established businessman. Mr. Fadluddin is a well-established business expert with proven track record as CEO and owner of International Business Supply Group LLC and other related businesses in and out of Sierra Leone. He also doubles as a seasoned professional in the transport, aviation, logistics, and construction sectors. His evaluation is his invaluable first-hand experience in operating across Africa and the Middle East has equipped him with a deep understanding to mitigate challenges of entrepreneurial investment risk. He holds a master's degree in economics from the Portsmouth University in the UK and has been very instrumental in encouraging investors from the Middle East that have special investment interests in Sierra Leone. Responding to the Committee on the Investment Opportunity the Republic of Sierra Leone stands to gain through the diplomatic ties with Qatar, Mr. Fadluddin remarked that Qatar is one of the wealthiest countries in terms of per capita and standards of living. The Qatar investment is also one of the largest in the world. As ambassador, I will use the opportunity to bring investors to Sierra Leone on a large scale from priority sectors such as agriculture, mining and tourism on either short, medium or long-term scale to accelerate economic growth. The committee concluded that it will use its experience as a seasoned businessman in Qatar and the entire Arab region to ensure that the investments are guaranteed to create more jobs in Sierra Leone. Mr. Emerson Kamal. Proposed Deputy Commissioner, National Youth Commission. Mr. Emerson Kamal is a youth activist and has an in-depth knowledge of formulating, coordinating, and managing sustainable youth programs. He served as Deputy Commissioner of the National Youth Commission from 2018 and provided visionary leadership for effective decision-making towards the growth of the youth in this country. He studied at the Multimagai College of Education then and gained several certificates to his credit. Mr. Kamara promised to work with his boss to execute the multi-youth programs already on track, especially the topical Youth Against Drugs Abuse campaign. Mr. Lassana Kelfakai Pala, proposed chairman, Sierra Leone Teaching Service Commission, SLTSC. Mr. Kaifala is a renowned professional economist with systematic track records of successful achievements in key educational programs nationwide.
Are you adding something to your report?
I think we have the same report. Are we?
I did not read economist.
Or education. Thanks, the speaker. Mr. Kaifala is a renowned professional educationalist with systematic track records of successful achievements in key educational programs nationwide. You know, I've been reading about economists. That's why. He is passionate about our educational system through his interventions in many spheres, especially the free quality school education programs, which he has championed with great success. From 2018 to 2022, he served as Director of Service Delivery at the free quality school education programs, where he was the focal person at State House for the implementation. His acquaintances with school authorities and community stakeholders across the country have impacted positively in prioritizing school programs and solutions. The nominee has a Bachelor of Art degree from the University of Sierra Leone and a postgraduate certificate in educational management from the UK. Responding to the committee, the nominee said his wealth of experience in the school system will help him to improve the quality recruitment procedures of teachers and advise the Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary School Education, MESSE, on the over-bloated registration figures of candidates usually sent by school administrators to the West Africa examination councils for the senior school examinations. It was advised by the committee to pay close attention to the science teachers, recruitment, procedures, and distribution to help the private schools countrywide. Dr. Bundu Gebau. Dr. Bundu Gebau is the chairman, Nuclear Safety and Radiation Protection Board. Dr. Bundu Gebau is a renowned environmental organic chemist with proven expertise and experience within government bodies and research institutions globally. He started his early education pursuits at the University of Sierra Leone with a Bachelor of Science degree, honors in chemistry. He later attained all his postgraduate education credentials and awards in the United Kingdom, UK. As a research scientist, he has led many critical research activities in and out of Sierra Leone. His wealth of experience has gained rapt attention from the Association of Research Fellows of the University of Toronto, Canada, and others like the Lancaster University, UK. At the national level, Dr. Gebau served as the executive chairman of the Environment Protection Agency from 2021 with clear and outstanding performance. Responding to the committee, the learned doctor promised to use his experience to build on the foundation already laid and link up with similar organizations in relation to responding to the global treaties and agreements on nuclear radiation and safeguard measures. Excerpt of the 9th sitting of the 7th report on Monday, 10th October 2023. Mr. Abu Bakar Karim, proposed ambassador, Sierra Leone Embassy, People's Republic of China. Mr. Abu Bakar Karim is a public health professional and policy advisor with extensive knowledge in leadership and governance, and trade investment strategies. Prior to his nomination, he served as Minister of Agriculture, where he formulated agricultural development policy and advised the government on issues related to administration and management of the agricultural sector. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the committee still reaffirms those desirable attributes of this nominee as we are approved during the 5th Parliament. Responding to the committee on how he would strengthen bilateral relationship, especially on the agro-tourism sector, affordable housing scheme growth, medical and roads infrastructure, the one-time ambassador at large and advisor to the president mentioned, among going to China as an agent or advisor as an agent or businessman to look for interested development partners to serve the needs of Sierra Leone. This is not strange, as prior to this appointment, I had a very good relationship with varying development experts in diverse fields, especially agriculture, to which I owe so much passion and practice as a master farmer. He was encouraged by the committee to build on the good legacies of his predecessor and to further skew his development relationship to the People's Republic of Japan under the accreditation in a bid to tap the economic potentials Japan has for developing economies. Mr. Harold Bundu Safari, proposed ambassador, Sierra Leone Embassy, Ethiopia, African Union. Mr. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, Mr. Al-Safa is a seasoned and reputable diplomat who thrives on new challenges with skills and emotional intelligence, especially in navigating and negotiating complex issues. He has the flexibility to ensuring respect and taking on board the nuances of ethics and the sensitivity attached to the multilateralism and geopolitics in international organizations. From 2018 to 2023, he served as Deputy Head of Mission Sierra Leone Embassy to the Kingdom of Belgium and the European Union. Prominent among his responsibilities included deputizing the head of mission in his absence, and coordinating the actual issues in the accredited countries, which Kingdom of Belgium, Kingdom of Netherlands, France, and others. On his assignment to Ethiopia, African Union, the experienced diplomat said it was a Herculean task of not only dealing with their accredited countries, but to constantly represent Sierra Leone on major African Union decisions making at Addis Ababa, especially when the African Union members are now faced with sub-regional democratic threats and major assignments of peace building under the United Nations platform. He will be accredited to Botswana, Mauritania, Namibia, Zambia, South Africa, and Ethiopia. He promised to measure up to the expectations of the government in building strong diplomatic ties, all spheres. Recommendations. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the committee adjourned the following presidential nominees to be adequately qualified for their proposed appointments and are therefore recommended to the House for approval. 1. Mr. Haji Dabo, proposed Director General, National Mineral Agency, NMA. 2. Dr. Edward Hinga Sandi, proposed Executive Director, National Investment Board, NID. Mr. Ahmed Tijan Fadluddin, proposed Ambassador Sierra Leone Embassy, Qatar. Mr. Emerson Kamara, proposed Deputy Commissioner, National Youth Commission. Mr. Lansana Wi Kaifala, proposed Chairman, Sierra Leone Teaching Service Commission. Dr. Bondi Gefal, Chairman, Nuclear Safety and Radiation Protection Board. Mr. Abubakar Karim, proposed Ambassador, Sierra Leone Embassy, People's Republic of China. Mr. Harold Bundu Safa, proposed Ambassador, Sierra Leone Embassy, Ethiopia, Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, African Union. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the 8 reports reflect the unanimous view of the committee. I therefore move that the 8 reports of the first session of the Committee on Appointment and Public Service be adopted by this House, and that the recommendations contained therein be approved. Signed, Honorable Bashiru Siddiqui, representing the people of Ghana.
Deputy Leader of Government Business. Before I ask for a seconder to your motion, I have a question that you must answer. Among the nominees you have named, who are before the House for approval, there are 3 ambassadors designate. I would like to know from you whether you have received, on behalf of this House, the agreement from the receiving countries concerned for the three respective ambassadors you have named in your report.
Mr. Speaker, we interviewed the two ambassadors, the man going to China and Addis. On Monday the 10th, and they were not presented because we did not receive the agreement, and we also interviewed the other nominees a few days ago. But we've been assured by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. We've been assured by the committee has been assured by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs through the Minister and the Director General that the agreement will be available soonest. But we have advised going forward as a committee, we have advised the executive that when once nominees are presented to themselves, especially nominees going to embassies, they should be accompanied with their ID. We have advised the executive on that side.
In light of what has happened, I think I'm going to make a ruling on this matter. And I will predicate the ruling with a little background for the edification of all the members of Parliament. I, sitting here as your speaker today, was not your speaker yesterday, nor will I be tomorrow. But for the moment, I am the Speaker of this House. And for the sake of posterity, when I would have left this chair, I would not like future generations to come and say, with all the wealth of experience and education Dr. Abass Bundu had, why did they proceed the way that they did under his watch as Speaker? Before the interview of these nominees for the diplomatic appointments, I inquired from the leader of government business whether he had received the agreement of the nominees concerned. And he said no, he had not. And I advised that they should not be interviewed until the agreement were received. He pleaded with me that they were just going to be interviewed, but they would not be presented to the House for approval until the agreement arrived. The moment the interview was done, pressure started piling up from different quarters, asking for approval to be carried out by the House. Now, with modesty, let me tell you my background, honorable members. I have 3 degrees in law, 2 of them with specializations. An LLB with honors from the National University of Australia, where I graduated in 1969.
Mr. Speaker.
After that, I went on to Cambridge.
Cambridge finest.
Where I acquired my LLM honors and my PhD in international law and constitutional law. And I've practiced law since my call over 50 years now. So I wouldn't want youngsters to come tomorrow after I would have left this chair and they ask questions under the watch of Dr. Abass Bundu. See what was done wrongly. I will not be around to defend myself, but let it be on record. You will not be around either. And with the kind of enthusiasm that I see in you, you'll be elsewhere. But in all seriousness, let me make this clear. From now on, and this is a ruling, and it should be reported to the clerk for all time, let it be on the record. From now on, no nominee will be interviewed by the appointments committee for a diplomatic appointment abroad, unless, in addition to all the little conditions that you people normally require them to bring, the following two ingredients are tendered. First, the letter of appointment by His Excellency the President.
That's always a comment.
Second, the agreement from the receiving country to which the diplomat will be proceeding as an ambassador. Those two documents must be presented to Parliament before the commencement of the interview of the candidate for approval. It is right international best practice for those requirements to be met before any approval procedure is entertained in this House. I have come under tremendous pressure from different quarters that will go nameless to allow this to be an exception. And it will be the utmost exception that I make it in this particular instance. And never again will I sit here and approve anyone for appointment to a diplomatic post without the agreement being tendered to this House. We must learn to act and obey and conduct our activities according to law. We are a country that believes in the rule of law. We believe in procedures. You may call me old edition if you like. But thank God old editions are around. In fact, I feel gratified today that I see among the nominees some people who are also in the departure of their profession, in the departure lounges of their professions.
Are you talking about Mr. Dabo?
Experience is something you do not buy. You gain it through practice. And you youngsters, don't ever think you can do well without the older ones and the You need us. You need us at all times to be around, to guide you from your own follies and mistakes. So I hope you are paying attention.
Are you referring to me?
To you particularly. And I repeat, no more interviews of diplomatic appointments unless two things are tendered to Parliament. First, the letter of appointment from the presidency. Second, the agreement. Before the procedures of Parliament for approval are commenced. Let that be a ruling of this House going forward. That said, I will now ask for a second. Who is the second?
I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable members, the question is that the eighth report of the first session of the sixth Parliament of the Committee on Appointments and the Public Service be adopted by the House and that the recommendations contained therein be approved. I'll give the floor to the seconder in the first instance.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members, in concurrence with Section 61 of Act number 6 of the 1991 Constitution, with your leave, Mr. Speaker, I read, subject to the provision of this Constitution and of any Act of Parliament, the President may constitute offices for Sierra Leone, make appointments to any such office, and terminate any such appointment. In concurrence with this particular section, Mr. Speaker, His Excellency the President has just done justice to fine Sierra Leoneans who are here today before this honorable House. Mr. Speaker, among the 7 or 8 million or so who've been picked to come and serve Sierra Leoneans, what a blessing. What a law. Mr. Speaker, in the next 5 years or so, we the politicians, we expect you to be active, to be agile, to be efficient, to be effective, and of good attendance record in the next 5 years. At the expiration of that 5 years, we the politicians will now take the front role of campaigning, front role of marketing our new manifesto so that we can keep the APC in perpetual opposition. Mr. Speaker, what do we expect from these nominees? Number one, find out the things that have been going on right in those institutions that you are going to. Find out also the things that are not going on right in those institutions. It will help you form a PTT, the performance tracking table of your very staff, your very members of staff. What has been going on right here? What have not been going on right here? You can be guided through that. I cannot comment much, Mr. Speaker. Before the war, I was not much experienced, but during war period, in my young teenage to now, I can give a short flashback of presidents that came and gone, of their legacies. President Joseph Saidu Momo can be appreciated for his legacy of rebutting multi-partyism in this country. The 1991 Constitution actually gave birth to multi-party. That he has to his credit as his legacy for bringing multi-party in this country. In this same way, in 1991, this Constitution was born. President Ahmed Tijan Kaba came, half to his credit for bringing peace, unity, strengthening democratic institutions. He did a lot
Today, the Youth Commission, Electoral Commission strengthening, the police headquarters that you see, the army, MOD that you see, transformation of NAXA, of NRA, of EPA, etc., etc. He did a lot in strengthening governance. And pundits will say he has been one of the most cohesive presidents this country has produced. Mr. Speaker, looking at the profile of President EBK, added by Kurban, yes, it can be credited for some fine infrastructural developments during his almost 11-year era. Bad news to relieve a vice president. That is the work of Parliament and not him. That's the bad news, but it can be credited for infrastructural development. Most of the city roads today, yes, it can be. The only bad news is that he relieved his vice president, the work of Parliament, not his work. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, President Julius Madabio can be credited for him to challenge a phenomenal assignment, free quality education. Can you imagine? Sierra Leone had about 37% literate from the record, just 37%. Today he has increased it. He can be credited to have challenged and missed a hiccuping economy. He said, I will donate 22% of my GDP towards education. That's a legacy. No one can take it from President Julius Madabio. In his second term, he's challenging, feed the people. That is the current agenda. Feed the people. Feed the people. How can you presume? How can you achieve a second inning flagship? Feed Sierra Leone. Feed Sierra Leone. That's the legacy we, in our second inning, want to build. Feed Sierra Leone. You're all here. How can you, in one way or the other, contribute to feed Sierra Leone? Mr. Speaker, we have 5 nominees today from various peers. They are going to end. Let me start. I don't want to long this debate. Let me start with Mr. Ajidabo, a long-term engineer that has served conglomerate, served government with a variety of experience. Yesterday, he was at the back to preside over enemy. Today, he's in the driving seat. Can you imagine? Today, you are on the driving seat. The day-to-day operation of enemy. That's the driving seat. He was serving as the Director General of NMA, Ajidabo. For the records, I have served as one term and now in second term, Parliamentary Oversight Chairperson for that particular sector. I inherited just 7 large-scale mining companies. When we came here in 2018 for my record, I inherited just 7 large-scale mining companies with licenses. Before the expiration of that particular first term, we now have 22 large-scale mining companies. In fact, present 24 large-scale mining companies. That is the free access and the political will President Madabio normally does at cabinet level. For us to woo investors, that's the record that you are meeting. 24 large-scale mining companies. And I can imagine the economy they do pay. Annually alone, $500,000 plus, just a license, just one license. They are adding to our economy. What will you add at the end of your term as the DG of NMA? Today we have 24. By the time you leave, will you reduce large-scale miners, investors, or you will have? That is the assignment. People of Botswana will say in their hearts, the Mining Act of Botswana, it has in its prelude that the land is our heritage. You take our land, you take our heart. You take our heart, you take everything away from us. Do not joke. The people of Botswana, they are many, the minerals is benefiting them a lot because they will not joke that you take their heart, you take everything away from them. That's Botswana. Botswana, I'm not a student of geology, but geology students will tell you that if you extract a single diamond, it will take 3 million years for us to see another diamond growing from that particular sector. Can you imagine? Extract a big diamond, geologists, they will tell you that it will take 3 million years for you to see another big diamond. The minerals we have are not renewable in our era, and therefore, help NMA, help the government of Sierra Leone to do the best with our minerals. We want to see minerals benefication, benefiting the people. One of the cries I'm still hearing is the payment of DSCDF. The people in the provinces are not happy, and it is your responsibility to regulate the miners, the mining companies, the artisanals. Get the money on a basket, give them back. Many paramount chiefs are now crying because their projects are not stopped. Upon taking this particular office, facilitate the payment of the DSCDF. You don't want it. In the new act, it has now been converted to mining district development money. But we still have backlog. At least 10 billion is there laying. They need it and want to use it for the completion of their various projects. If you do that for the paramount chiefs of the various chiefdoms in the next 3 months or so, I'm telling you, they will sing hallelujah for you. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, on my list here, I still have Dr. Hinga Sandi. Dr. Hinga Sandi, like Dr. Aji Dabo. Yesterday, they are on the upper seat. Today, they are on the driver's seat. He will be serving NIB board as the executive secretary. He will not be more engaged with the day-to-day. I'm telling you, all of these sectors, they have connection with President Marabio's Big Five. President Marabio's Big Five agenda hinges on all of your sectors when I watch at it critically, which means you have a role to play for us to succeed. A role to play, NIB, the National Investment Board. Of those small boards, when the President, His Excellency, serves as the chair, this is to give investors confidence. Come, the President himself is the chair. Yes, he can do business with us, Asia, Europe. They have annual festivities when they call all of the investors. Come to this conference, invest, show your mind, show your strength. This is what we want to see in the NIB. By the time the 5 years expires, the NIB will provoke our youth. President Marabios has promised the nation that every year he will give 100,000 jobs. How can NIB help? Government alone cannot give all of the jobs, but the private sector, America is strong today because the private sector in America, it works. UK is strong today, the private sector in the UK, it works. You can do the same. National Investment Board, you have to befriend the private sector. Bring them on board. We want to see the energetic youth of this nation who are so vulnerable in the hands of Mr. Kush today. Bring investors. When those investors, when they come to invest on the economy, definitely they will be active. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, let's look at Mr. Falduddin Ahmed. He will be going to Qatar as an ambassador. Who is an ambassador, by the way? An ambassador is a fine gentleman who serves as the face of the nation, protecting the national interest of that particular nation where it's coming from. Selling the nation, the good news, the good things that we have, sell it to the people of Qatar. Qatar is on record to have got the finest engineers for oil and gas. The last time I checked, from our mineral Bafpan, we still have oil and gas. Suleiman Pujon District, Cambia, and Godrich. Yes, from the exploration report that we got, oil and gas can be seen from those areas being called. What will we do, Mr. Falduddin, to bring the best engineers from Qatar? Woo them to come and do exploration. I'm telling you, the dollarization you see continuously dwarfing our leos. It is because of the mineralization. We have not exploited it much. The moment we get the best engineer from Qatar, come and do exploration, the moment we begin to realize our oil and gas from Suleiman Pujon, from Cambia, from Godrich. I'm telling you, our GDP will be pumped up with the FTC. So you have a lot to who the people of Qatar to come to Sierra Leone. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, Emerson, my namesake, Emerson Kamara here, the Youth Commission Act. Nigeria Youth Commission is so active. We are told that the Youth Commission from Nigeria, they fought hard. If you go to the General Assembly of Nigeria today, you have a bill called Not Too Young to Run. They made sure they motivated their youth and they push forward. Not too young to run. Not too young to run is to bring out the limitation, the checkpoint before youth, to hold responsible positions. And in that same youth commission, the present youth commission we are told that if you, at least, an investor employs 50 youth, you should be given a certificate. I've not been seeing that much from our youth commission to motivate our investors. If you give 50 youth job, you should be offered a certificate to motivate others. It is there in the Youth Commission Act. But you have not experienced that much. Begin to do it so that others can be motivated to bring our youth on board. We have energy. If you want to see the Operation Fit Sierra Leone succeed, it is the youth in the villages, in the rural area. They have the energy. The youth. Industrialization, it is the youth. In the military, in the police, it is the youth. Go to the bank, it is the youth. We don't have to waste this energy in the hands of push. Use us, motivate us, give us the requisite education so that we can be active. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the ambassadors Abubakar Karim has done lots, has done well from agriculture. As an ambassador at large, I'm calling you ambassador, not a mistake. You've been an ambassador at large. Today, if this house approves of you, you become a full-fledged ambassador. And because you have served in the Ministry of Agriculture, today, if this house approves of you, you'll be going to China. Mr. Speaker, the last time I checked, China is still the biggest farmer in the world. China, India, Vietnam, they still top the list as far as agriculture. And when I sat in my quiet teaching, I'm convinced that the moment we begin to exploit.
Remember, are you surprised by that? China has more than 1.3 billion mouths to feed. So naturally, they will be the biggest farmer in the world. And India is second in that order. Carry.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. That's all, Mr. Speaker. That tells you my research is very apt. China is the biggest farmer. And if you want to see Operation Fit Sierra Leone works, in my quietness, I said, why can't you export? Why can't you bring in? Why can't you bring in, import the white farmers? The paramount chiefs of Sierra Leone are so generous. I mean, they are so generous to give up their land. And the Land Commission, the National Land Commission Act and the Constitutional and Land Right makes provision for them to be the chair of those lands. And with the land committee's blessing, they can buy shares, import the white farmers, give them all the land. I'm telling you, in the shortest time, we can achieve Operation Fit Sierra Leone. Because the land is there, green. Give the paramount chiefs the liberty to buy shares, 10% or more. At the end of the day, if it is corn, if it is inland valley swamp, even if it is animal husbandry or agricultural extension, we can achieve. So, ambassadors, in Nairobi or in Qatar or in China, you have a role to play for us to achieve. President Manabio succeeded when he made education as a flagship. He's on record, and no president has broken that record. And it is phenomenal to give free quality education to the kids. Today we have at least 2.7 million kids in school. Freely they attend. I'm a proud beneficiary. My sons attend a government school. That is, oh yes, of course. My son attends a both school. That's a government school. Free quality education. I'm a proud beneficiary. Thank you very much, President Malabi, for giving my kids a free quality education. We succeeded, and we can succeed. We can also succeed with Operation Feed Sierra Leone. You have a role to play. Every one of you, Mr. Speaker, because Mr. Aaron, by the time I was serving EU Parliament, he was so effective and efficient in his job. By the time he goes to Nairobi, Ethiopia, I beg your pardon, Ethiopia, definitely, and serving the EU, he will definitely bring results back home. Mr. Speaker, that's all we have to say about our fine nominees. Go and make us proud. Learn all the skills, all the technology, the beauty, the finance and the finesse of those countries. Bring the stallion again so that we can advance in technology, in education, in agriculture, etc., etc. I will say to you, you are blessed. Among 7 million or so, President Malabi said, come and be on the driving seat. And here I am, Mr. Speaker, because I have no inkling of doubt that they will perform, will make us proud. I want to laud MPs across the aisle. Are you here? MP Thompson? MPs across the aisle. To speedily approve of these fine nominees. I thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
I thank the honorable members for his contribution to the debate. Who is the honorable with the hat?
Honorable Charles O. Abdullah from Bo.
The hat seems to disguise your figure.
I'm imitating Jonas Savimbi today.
I have a nominee. I stand a better chance. Turn to your right.
I'm not monofocal. I see every corner of this.
Okay. All right.
So take your seat.
All right.
Very well accepted, sir. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And I don't want to deviate. Being a small boy, I want to thank you for supervising me since the 5th Parliament. Small boy for Mr. Speaker, I mean. For supervising me today, I can boast of being somebody with some sound knowledge. I want to thank you for that because you've been my supervisor and my mentor. Thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, today we are here to ratify 3 different agreements, energy agreements, not other agreements, but energy agreements, because this government is poised to provide sustainable and affordable electricity for the people of Sierra Leone. And in doing that, you have to make the laws flexible. We have to create the enabling environment for investors to come and invest in the energy sector in Sierra Leone. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, times without number, I have said, energy generation and transmission is capital intensive. And in a situation where you have a challenged economy, most times you need investors to come and invest. Most times in the model we call build, operate, and transfer. Most countries that have stable electricity today use that model, build, operate, and transfer. Because for most governments, the resources are not available to fix it for themselves. And to fix the energy problem in Sierra Leone, Mr. Speaker, we are getting on gradually. It cannot be a quick fix. So today, the power purchase agreement for the 148.5 megawatt on the western area, that's a very big boom. Mr. Speaker, in the 5th Parliament, this particular agreement was ratified here. But now it is an addendum.
And the second one is a power purchase agreement for 15 megawatt solar, renewable energy. We want to move from the use of fossil fuel to renewable energy. So that is why we, in the energy mix, in that event, we are also bringing solar 15 megawatt, and it's also going to be situated in the east, in the western area, Newton. And after that, again, the Sierra Leone-led one, the one that is being led by a Sierra Leone team, the power purchase agreement for amendment, because this also came here, but this one came to this parliament before Honorable Bundu knocked the doors of this parliament, but it came here before this parliament. So this parliament is fully aware of this Bitmile hydro company also. But now there is also an amendment. So it has come before the 6th parliament for ratification to go into full-blown operation. So the idea, the agenda of the president, and the agenda of this parliament, and all Sierra Leoneans, meaningful Sierra Leoneans, for us to get us to a better renewable energy, then it will be actualized once these things are achieved. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, you have operating in 10 minutes, so I'm just going to a very brief one. I think this will be first of its kind. I want to take the western area power generation, 148.5 megawatts. Mr. Speaker, and that one is going to be situated in the eastern part of Freetown. Most times, while the western part of Freetown enjoy electricity, the eastern part of Freetown suffer outages. The simple reason, I told you, Mr. Speaker, in my second debate in this parliament, the 5th parliament, major rehabilitation on the transmission and distribution network took place in Sierra Leone in 1995. Since that time, no major rehabilitation has ever taken place. And the customer base has increased. Good number of customers now attached to ETSA. So we cannot ETSA cannot evacuate adequate power from western part in terms to eastern part of Freetown. But that one is definitely going to be solved, Mr. Speaker, with intervention of this 15 mega solar situated in the eastern part, and this 148.5 megawatts is also going to solve the problem. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the tariff here, what I want to explain to honorable members here, the tariff, we have what we call liquefied petroleum gas. It's what we're going to, it's of two components. Liquefied petroleum gas is what we are going to start with. And under the liquefied petroleum gas, the tariff is going to be 7.23 US cent kilowatt hour. That means excluding the fuel charges. The fuel charges comes in as how the cost of prevail that moment. Mr. Speaker, this is very reasonable. The other day I said it here, when you put it plus or minus, we are buying electricity as 21.5 cent kilowatt hours. And we used to tell you 12 cent kilowatt hour to customers. So that is why most times when the Minister of Finance was here, even, he made mention that ETSA is putting so much burden on the budget. And we want to get that body a little from the Ministry of Energy. So that's why you have seen some changes in the system. And Mr. Speaker, but when we come to LNG, when the liquefied gas comes in, then the cost of the tariff will be 7.038 cents US cent kilowatt hour. Mr. Speaker, I will bring you all these figures to inform this honorable house and the public. But once these projects are ratified and they come into operation, there is every likelihood that in economics, we say one of the sources of government revenues is public-owned enterprises. ETSA being a public-owned enterprise established by the government, all profits maximized by ETSA belongs to the government. So when we have a cheaper tariff, ETSA maximize profit. That profit will be one of the sources of Sierra Leone revenue. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, and
I hope by then you have solved the TV problem.
well, that is not a one-man thing.
The electricity TV.
That is not a one-man thing, Mr. Speaker. I would agree with you.
Within ETSA.
That's very good, and I want to create the indulgence on honorable members. Most times, Mr. Speaker, in our communities, we do know who are connected illegally. But for the information, ESA do not have an automated system that when you are illegally connected, they will notice that one. We all have to be watchdogs for our community if we want the government to grow from this level we are. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, now the 15 megawatt solar is also located at Newton. The power purchase agreement is 20 years, Mr. Speaker. And one good thing about these three projects, Mr. Speaker, is going to be built, operate, and transfer. After the concessional period, those projects are going to be government owned. That is how we are going to have our own generation assets. Like we have Bunguna now, Mr. Speaker, while we are buying at 21.5 cents kilowatt hour from IPPs, Bunguna is less than 3 cents kilowatt hour. So can you imagine when we have our own generation assets, we'll be spending lesser money, and those assets will be providing money for government. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, let me go to Betmai. Betmai, Mr. Speaker, this is one of the companies that has added to the assets of this parliament, Mr. Speaker. I will tell you, I spoke to the clerk. Betmai was invited a committee to give them updates on his activity. We invited him to the committee office there. They said, Mr. Honorable, you do not have printer. I said, you do not have printer. You are supposed to have an office fridge. I say it's not available. He provided us with colored printer and office fridge. I have reported that to the clerk because it has to be recorded into parliamentary assets register. It's not my personal property.
Thank you.
It's a gift. It's a gift.
Thank you.
That is the first of its kind, Mr. Speaker. Somebody invites you, come let me tell you what I'm doing. So we are very pleased with him, and he is located in the provincial areas. Because when we want to provide electricity for the people of Sierra Leone, we are not only concentrating in Freetown. We have our people in the provincial areas, and that is what Betmai is coming to help us with. Betmai is going to do 28.2 megawatts along the Pampana River, Mr. Speaker. That is in around Maboroka. You know there very well. Those are your terrains, Mr. Speaker. And the tariff also you had from the minister is 9 cents kilowatt hour, and the transmission will be paying 2 cents kilowatt hour. So put together is 11 cents kilowatt hour. It is very cheap when you even check, you compare to other charges in the sub-region, Mr. Speaker. So these three documents before this house today for ratification. Mr. Speaker, we should not even waste time to ratify them.
Thank you.
We should not even waste time to ratify them, Mr. Speaker, because if we want to get out of the energy quagmire, then we have no reason to stand in the way of this document. And so on that note, Mr. Speaker, because maybe one or two other speakers will be interested. On that note, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank these three companies. Minelli Energy TCQ Limited, Apple Energy, Sewa Energy Resources Limited. I want to thank them, Mr. Speaker, as I have told you, because they are taking the bold step. They want to invest in the energy sector in Sierra Leone for our energy growth. So for the fact that they are creating that partnership with us, they want to take us from where we are to a better level, we have to thank them for that. On that note, Mr. Speaker, I want to crave the indulgence of this honorable House and honorable members that we speedily ratify this agreement. They are not contentious at all. They are for our own good. It is far better. These are far better agreements as compared to some other agreements previously done. On that note, I want to thank you for giving me all years.
I thank the honorable member for his very informative contribution. In light of that contribution, do we need waste any more time? No. Thank you. So we wrap up. We'll wind up. Yes, Mr. Go ahead.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. for renewable energy and solar is what we need. Because my house, personally, my house, I have solar in my house. I use solar in the daytime and nighttime. And if this can help our country bring in all this megawatt into places that we need lights, it's a good thing for our country. Again, I don't want to talk too much. I just want to say this is a good bill, and I'm all in favor for it. Thank you very much.
May I invite the leader, acting leader of government business to follow suit?
Follow suit.
The opposite number spent barely a minute.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, honorable members. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the agreement before the House this afternoon between the government of Sierra Leone, EDSA, has no political risk. When I peruse clause 4, subsection 2, it gives enough guarantee for political risk. What are we saying? It means one government after another government, it still will stand the test of time. It has to be recalled that President Marabio inherited energy in this country 50%. 2018, President Marabio inherited energy summing up to 50%. Today, we are proud to say energy is about 44%. 44%, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this agreement will not only provoke urbanization, everybody wants to be in Freetown capital. This agreement will push people between Kleintown to Allentown, they will be beneficiaries. It means the 1.3 or so population that is in Freetown will begin to reduce from the western urban to the western rural because of the enjoyment of life. Mr. Speaker, before rounding up, the people of Kono were deprived in 1972. Under President Marabio, the people of Kono are now enjoying 24 hours life. Uninterrupted. Thank you very much for that question. Uninterrupted. You can imagine a project that was designed for the people of Kono between 1969 to 1972. It was diverted. It was formerly called, or it has to be named, Big Congo. The Big Congo project the people of Kono would have enjoyed between 1969 to 72 was diverted to Bumbuna. The service to the people of Kono. This is what President Marabio has done. Under the Coast Ivory, Liberia, Guinea, and Sierra Leone, we today enjoy 24 hours life. Mr. Speaker, what do we have to be labor of? A document that gives credence to Asia, that is thorough environmental, health, and social impact. Assignment, we are well done. And the resettlement plan, I'm a ruler of somebody. This project recognizes, respects landowners. That is to say, wherever the lineage or poles we pass, proper resettlement plan for the people. Do not be disgruntled at all. They will be happy because resettlement package, properly according to the agreement in 4.2 clause, will be given to the people. Mr. Speaker, President Marabio will be on record for taking energy from 15% to 44%, with the potential to more advance. I'm too sure, very, very optimistic. By the time 2028 expires, the people of Freetown, the people of the South, the people of the North, the people of the East will put blackouts as something of the past. On this note, I call on all acting opposition leaders and my fellow compatriots on this aisle that we speedily ratify this agreement for the benefit of Sierra Leone.
I thank the honorable member. The last word, Mr. Minister, and then you move again.
It's a need for move and command completely.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and thank you very much, revered honorable members of parliament. I think what we've witnessed here this afternoon, Mr. Speaker, is one that we at the Ministry of Energy and also with our other MDAs colleagues are very much grateful to this work, particularly with respect to all the kind sentiments that we've heard from the members of parliament with respect to the potentials and opportunities that these projects are going to bring to our various communities and maybe districts. I think what we've heard from the honorable member of parliament, who is the chairman on energy, is one that has clearly set the context of why we've brought all these amended agreements to this noble house. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I think the 148.5 megawatts, which is one of the agreements that we've laid here this afternoon, in addition to what the chairman has said, has another useful component, which probably I may just want to throw light on to this work. Because it is sad to report that about 3 weeks ago, when we had one of our consultative workshops held by the World Bank to look at the clean cooking framework that as a sector we are developing now. Because what has come out clearly over the period is that Sierra Leone as a country is lagging behind when it comes to clean cooking technologies. And it is sad to report from the studies that we've conducted that less than 3% of the entire population of Sierra Leone has no access to clean cooking, and which is as a result of our extensive dependence on biomass. We all know traditionally we use wood and charcoal for our domestic cooking and lighting, and that has predominated our activities over time. And we all know again the consequences most of our actions do have when it comes to this emerging global crisis, which has to do with climate change. Because Sierra Leone has also been listed as one of the vulnerable countries when it comes to climate change risks. So, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I just want to bring to the attention of the House that in addition to all that has been said, with the 148.5 megawatt Western Area Power Generation Plant that is going to be anchored on liquefied petroleum gas, I think is one that we should be very happy as a nation. Because we've seen over time there is a great deal of monopoly when it comes to LPG distribution across the country. That is to say, we only have one, Afrigas and also NP. So with the emergence of this 148, having a kind of a jetty that is going to be bringing most of these LPGs in country, we see there is going to be future framework that is going to break, the monopoly of having some of these cleaner forms of fuel, which is also potentially going to increase our cooking pattern as well as even increase our longevity. Because over time, they've reported that annually, well over 3 million people die of some of these good forms of cooking. So I just want to learn that again in addition to all of that. But one important note again that the Honorable Chairman said was as a result of the tariff. And mind you, Mr. Speaker, Honorable members, the tariff that is reported here, which is about 7.2%, not only takes into consideration the capacity charge, but it also brings on board the operations and maintenance cost, which is by no means also huge when you look at how projects are being structured. So it is also very, very important. And the second part of the discussion was also centered on the 15 megawatt solar in Newton. Of course, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, you will agree, each time you drive by Waterloo going up country, you see emerging kind of infrastructures being developed. And many a time we have been inundated in the ministry with respect to providing energy supply. So having this 15 megawatts as an additional capacity in the Western area is going to resolve all of that. And finally, Mr. Speaker, with respect to BETMI, I think One important feature of this particular company is that Betma has been a locally owned kind of developer, which is why as a ministry we've been supporting that particular developer to see how we could push this project forward. The location of the Betma project in Tonkolili is very central because when you look at how the CLSG rural components are being implemented now, you will see that we'll have that as a major generating point in the event we have any shortfall in the CLSG. So, on this note, Mr. Speaker, and finally to the Honourable Member of Parliament from Kono, I appreciate your compliment and kind sentiment, and I'm also happy to report that some of the CLSG rural towns in Kono, especially the lines, have been energized, and we are just waiting for some few technical issues to be sorted out so that Kono also continue to have more of that. So, with those, Mr. Speaker, Honourable Members, I humbly submit, be it resolved that this Honourable House hereby ratifies the following agreement, which we are laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 12th October 2023. 1. 148.5 megawatt power purchase amendment for the Western Area Power Generation Project. 2. The 15 megawatt alternate current solar and storage power generation project in Newton. And then 3. The 28.2 megawatt Betma hydroelectric power project in Pampanga.
Thank you. Honourable members, the question is that this Honourable House ratifies the agreements as read out by the Minister of Energy, which were laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 12th October 2023. All those in favor say aye. Aye. And those against say nay. The ayes have it.
The government's motion by the Minister of Energy has been ratified.
Any announcement?
Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I hope. Mr. Speaker, I rise on SO 25 to give the House notice that I intend filing a notice of motion, Mr. Speaker, to evict all illegal occupants in this Sierra Leone Stadium hostels, all car dealers. So I want to give the House notice that I intend filing such a motion under SO 25.
Very well. Yes, any other? Good. And no notices, no official, no announcements. Thank you. Honourable members, the House will stand adjourned to Tuesday, the 24th of October at 10 a.m. prompt.
Yeah, they can't hear.
Baba.